This is the exact study system that I used to get a master's degree in chemical engineering at the age of just 22. And it is the one that I continue to use as I continue my journey learning, growing, and improving in all aspects of my life. This system is going to be extremely helpful if you are a student, a working professional, or somebody who's just trying to max out their stat lines in all areas of their life. What we need to be understanding is the most important thing when learning how to study, when learning how to build a study routine, simply put, is you need to learn how to learn quickly. Full stop. That's it. You need to learn how to learn quickly. And that is what we're going to be breaking into in this guide. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Alex. I'm a chemical engineer. Like I said, I got my master's degree when I was 22, and now I'm just focused on building as maximized of a life as possible in all areas, be it engineering, career, finances, adventure, etc. And now at this point, I'm just trying to share those systems with as many people as I can. I don't know everything at the end of the day, but I have figured out some systems that work really well for me. And my hope is that I can share them with you and really help you along in your journey wherever you are at in that process. So with that, let's break right into this. First things first, what exactly are we even going to be talking about in this quick presentation? Firstly, real quick, we're going to talk about exactly what I would buy for an effective study session. These are all the things that I personally have in my office, literally right next to me right now. Beyond that, we're going to be talking about how you can eliminate distractions, what you should be doing in terms of the process of getting reps. We'll talk about that, what that means in a minute. Number 4, we're going to be talking about this concept of intentional time over time. And number 5, we're going to be talking about the hierarchy of resources, sort of what you should be prioritizing, what is less important, what builds out your foundation, etc., etc., etc. Think like the food pyramid, but for learning. All right, let's break into these things one by one. This is what you need to buy. I don't make profit from any of this, but buy these things. It's like $85, I think, if you buy all of it at once, or just accumulate it over time. But these are the things that I believe actually work. Trust me, I have tried hundreds of dollars of productivity tools and just different things and tech and gadgets and whatever. At the end of the day, this is the stuff that has actually worked for me personally. It's the stuff that I used all throughout college. It's what I continue to use when I am, going through a book or a course or anything like that. So the first thing, this is a little kitchen timer. These are 10, 20 bucks, I believe. Hop on Amazon, get one. Maybe I have one right here. I do. Let me grab it. Kitchen timer. You just spin this up. You can set whatever the time is on it. Hit go. It will just run. It's an amazing tool. Next up, we have a phone lockbox. Let's be honest, our phones are just the absolute biggest distraction in the world. So put your phone in here. Honestly, if you could throw your phone out the window, it probably would be better. But the act of physically locking your phone up, pressing that button, watching the lock turn, hearing it latch, that there can be an immediate signal for your mind to, okay, now we're in study mode. It's something that I've been using for a while. Our phones are such a big distraction, and no matter how much you try to put it on grayscale, turn off your notifications, do not disturb, at the end of the day, the easiest way to just get rid of that distraction is to physically lock it up with a timer. You just coordinate these two timers. So put 45 minutes on this thing, put 45 minutes on that thing. You're good to go. You're golden. Drafting pencil. This is my preferred pencil that I use. I like these Graph Gear ones. You can do the standard yellow pencils, but at the end of the day, they suck at erasing. You have to sharpen them, and it's just we're not in the freaking 1990s anymore. Buy a drafting pencil, please. Whiteboard. This is an amazing way to generate ideas and also practice things. If you're a student, you can write down practice problems, solve them, erase them, write down practice problems, solve them, erase them, and just do that over and over and over. And I have found, generally speaking, it is so much faster to write on a whiteboard. I don't know if it's just the friction is different compared to a pencil or a pen dragging along a piece of paper, but the speed at which I can write on a whiteboard is 2x that of pen and paper. And so when you're trying to practice problems really quickly, this is one of the most efficient ways to do it because you can just effortlessly write things down, erase it, and just keep that process going and going and going. These white erasers here, these Stadler ones, are what you're going to use to erase the Graph Gear pencil. And then these Bic pens are hands down the best Bic pen on the market. I have one of these Bic pens right here. I also have a drafting pencil right here. So hop on Amazon, just buy these things. They're all amazing. They're the things that you should be doing and getting for an effective study session. Cost breakdown really fast. $20 for the kitchen timer, $40 for the phone lock box. So that's your big two things. $8 for a whiteboard, $5 for some Bic pens, $5 for a drafting pencil, $6 for some erasers, for a grand total of $85. Invest the money. It's so worth it because at the end of the day, you can try a million things. These, 6 items? These 6 items are the ones that actually are going to be effective. So, eliminate distractions. How are we going to start using the things that we're going to buy? First things first, when you go and attempt to study, you need to get rid of all of your distractions. Of course, everybody talks about this, but nobody actually goes in depth to what does that mean. So I knew I was going to make a video, right? It's not studying, but it's still deep work. My coffee is right here because I know that if I start making the video and all of a sudden I get thirsty, then I have to get up, I have to break my flow, I have to completely reset what I'm doing. Get your water, get your coffee, get your juice, get your soda, whatever it is that you're going to drink, and just put it at your desk. That way you have no excuse to get up and leave the room. Additionally, go to the bathroom because, again, it's an incredibly convenient excuse to be 15 minutes into your study session and decide, I got to go pee. I got to go take a crap. If you go to the bathroom before you go to the study session, it's just so much more effective because you just eliminate that possibility of that distraction being in place. I personally really like to clear my texts, my emails, my notifications, all that type of stuff. What I mean by that is if one of my friends texts me or if somebody DMs me on Instagram, I want it gone. I don't want to see it because even if my phone's in the lockbox, let's say I've read somebody's text from earlier and I haven't already responded to it, the entire time I'm studying, I'm going to be sitting there going, I still need to get back to Sam. Oh, I still need to text Ethan back. Oh, I still need to go and text Nathan back because, it's just going to bug me. Clear the texts, clear the emails, either respond or delete it. That way you just go in fresh, you have a blank mind. You don't have all these things that are just keeping you distracted. Then you're going to place your phone in the lockbox, put it in another room, throw it off a bridge, whatever you got to do to get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And the last thing, put a sticky note on your desk for any ideas that pop into your mind as you're studying because you need to physically get it out of your mind whenever you're trying to learn. So for example, if I was in class or if I was studying for a class, fluid dynamics class, and all of a sudden I would think, I got to go do the laundry later. I don't need to do the laundry right now. So instead I would just go, write it on a sticky note, do laundry, and then I'm back to my studying. That way it's not plaguing my mind because if I don't write it down, the entire rest of my study session is just spent thinking about how I'm going to do the laundry later or thinking about how I got to go do dishes later. If you can just clear it, get your mind clear, and just make sure that you have this singularity of focus, it's going to be so much easier to learn. So first thing, eliminate those distractions. Just get rid of them. Next up, getting reps. What does this mean? I always compare this back to the gym. If you want to learn anything, you need to get reps with the material because at the end of the day, you could read a book about bench pressing. You could watch 5,000 videos about bench pressing, but if you never actually get down on the bench, get under the bar, put some weight on that bar and actually physically press it off of your chest, you don't understand how to bench press. Full stop at all. And so the same exact thing goes with anything in life. I guess this guy's not bench pressing. This dude's doing an overhead press, but whoops, same exact sort of thing. So when you are trying to learn literally anything, but we're going to tie this back to school really fast, make sure that your primary focus, your number one priority is doing practice problems. If you're in school, this could be practice problems from a test. It could be practice problems from homework, from the textbook. But that's where your whiteboard comes in. You want to be able to write down the problem, the solution, cross-check it with the answers, and then see how you did. And just do that over and over and over again. And I'm talking the exact same problem because you want to get it down to where you can just fire it off so effortlessly that you're actually going to get good at doing the thing. The same exact thing goes for making videos online, right? I've been making videos for the past 2 years, a little less than 2 years at this point, and I have posted probably close to 2,000 pieces of content. The entire point of that is to get reps, to continue to practice. I am constantly studying jiu-jitsu, right? The way that you get good at jiu-jitsu, going to class, rolling, practicing the techniques. Every single thing, the number one way to learn is actual practical, hands-on application of the thing that you're trying to learn. So get reps. Next up, intentional time over time. What does this mean? The hardest part once you start to integrate these habits and these techniques into your learning process is that you can start to get kind of antsy. You start to feel like, why don't I know this yet? Why have I not learned what it is that I'm trying to do yet? And you need to realize that the learning process will not take a day. It won't take a week. Honestly, sometimes it won't even take months. A lot of the time, the learning process, true learning, takes years. We're talking 2 to 5 years to get reasonably proficient at pretty much anything. Yeah, you can get pretty good in a couple months. But if you want to get really damn good at something, I think it takes 2 years minimum. Maybe a year if you're just a golden child from God. But realistically, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So you need to be intentional with your study time, doing the habits that we've already talked about over a very long duration of time. And you need to stick with it. You need to continue to just do the same thing, show up every single day. That is what's going to make the difference between someone who learns whatever the material is and someone who doesn't. I'm a guitar player myself. I have been playing guitar for, I believe, 7 years now. I have spent an infinite number of hours playing the guitar. And only now at this point, yes, I still need to practice. Yes, I need to keep my skills up. Only now within the past maybe year or so do I feel like my skills are at a point where I don't need to practice as much. But all the time from high school when I first started learning all the way up through college as I got my music minor, as I was studying jazz and doing all those different things, I was practicing hours and hours and hours a day, being very intentional with that over that very long duration of time. And now I'm at a point where I'm reasonably decent at playing the guitar. This is how it is with everything, right? That's why a degree takes 4 years. I understand that everybody wants to shortcut a degree. They want to get it done in 4 months. But the reality is you can't actually learn it in 4 months. And so many people will try to tell you that going to college is a waste of time, right? You're going to spend so many years learning things that you could learn in 3 months. That sounds really great in practice. How many people have actually learned a college degree in 3 months? Like 2 people ever? It takes years. It takes a long time to learn something and become good at something. You can memorize a whole college degree in 3 months, sure. But do you actually know the material? Can you actually apply that to your life? Can you actually produce a result based off of the inputs that you have learned? Probably not. It's going to take a few years to learn something. And so if you're in this sort of gray period, this purgatory zone where you feel like you're not getting the results that you want, you feel like you're not learning as quickly as you would like, realize that you're kind of just on the path that everybody goes on to learn anything. And that's okay. Instead, you should relish in the moment. You should be excited and stoked that you're going through this process of learning because so many people kind of just go through life not learning. So spend as much time as you can just being intentional with your time and realize it's going to take a long time. Be patient. That's okay. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about here is the hierarchy of resources. So we're going to talk about this from a school standpoint and then just from like a self-development, personal development standpoint as well. So all you personal development people who have already graduated, chill for like 2 minutes. Okay. Hierarchy of resources. If you're in school, this right here is your foundation, the textbook. Textbook is a phenomenal place to learn basic material, but at the same time, ultimately, it's probably the worst place to spend your time when you're trying to learn. Beyond that, we have class slides. These are better, right? They're more tailored specifically to what your professor wants you to learn. But at the same time, again, there's a lot of material on the class slides that is good for just general knowledge. It's good for your overall understanding of the material. But when it comes to taking the test, when it comes to passing the class, a lot of the time, there's a lot of kind of irrelevant information on there. So take all of that with a grain of salt. What I recommend you do is write personal notes based on the class slides. You're going to write down a SparkNotes edition when you're in class and then just go home and summarize it for 10 or 15 minutes once you're out of the class. Your personal notes should be the source of review material, in my opinion. It's just going to be more tailored to the class. It's going to be something that makes sense to you because you actually wrote it. And I think you're just going to have a much easier time learning the material using personal notes over the textbook. Beyond that, though, now we're talking about getting reps. we have textbook problems, old homework, test questions. So test questions take the cake. They are hands down your number one priority if you can get a hold of them. Not everybody can, but test questions are by far the highest leverage thing that you can do when it comes to learning material for school. Why? Because you're going to be tested on questions similar to old tests. A lot of the time, a teacher will teach the same class for years. I had thermodynamics professors that have been in that class since I was in middle school. They've been the teacher since I was like in 8th grade. And so they tend to give pretty repetitive tests that seem roughly similar to each other. So if you can get a hold of an old test, literally just by asking them, or by sometimes they'll post it onto Canvas or something like that, going through that, understanding how they structure the questions, understanding what they like to ask, understanding the key concepts that they want you to know for test 1, test 2, test 3, midterms, finals, etc. It's going to be, again, way easier to actually understand the material to the level and with the specificity that they want you to understand it at. Beyond that, we have old homework, right? Because this is the questions that they have specifically procured for you in order to prepare you for the test. And then after that, textbook problems, kind of like the textbook itself, they're good, but a lot of them are generalized. A lot of them may deal with concepts that you actually don't even need to know for the class, and so they can be really handy in getting a super deep understanding of something, but at the same time, a lot of the time, they're just not the most high leverage thing that you can spend your time on. Okay, so now let's just say you've graduated school, you're trying to learn things in general. This is the hierarchy of resources, basically modified for anybody who is where I'm at now, right? I've graduated engineering school, but every day I'm constantly trying to learn because I want to improve myself. So number one, books. Books are great. Trust me, I read a lot. Books are amazing, but at the same time, I find a lot of books, not all, but many, many books, simply give you an awareness level of knowledge, but they don't give you an application level of knowledge. They will make you aware that you can do certain things, right? You can go and read all these self-help books. You can go and read any number of money book, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you can go and read. Think and Grow Rich, you can go and read anything like that. And they'll tell you you can make money. They'll tell you there's ways to invest. They'll tell you that there's all these things that you can do to make your life better. But they don't tell you how to do it. They don't actually handhold you to the finish line, hands down. That's just how it is. And so books are great for getting a generalized awareness level of knowledge, which is what you need before you can learn the application side of things, but really use it for that, right? Don't rely on reading books to teach you exactly how to do things. You need some sort of person to physically show you how to do it, and then you need to apply it actually into real life. So beyond books, we have YouTube. YouTube is a really great way to see people doing the things that you want to do, and I find a lot of the time YouTube can be more in depth than books, and they do a really good job at telling you how to go and accomplish the things you want to accomplish. But YouTube is a massive search engine. There is thousands of hours of content uploaded to YouTube every single day. And so it can become really hard to find specifically what it is that you need along your journey with where you are at. So in my opinion, even better than YouTube would be some sort of specialized coaching or instruction, right? I can learn jujitsu from YouTube, but I'm going to be a way better jujitsu athlete if I just go and hire a coach to teach me how to do jujitsu. So same thing goes for everything. That's why we go to college, right? You could learn chemical engineering online, supposedly. They're not going to teach you as good as a teacher will. You need somebody who's going to actually show you and handhold you to that finish line. Now we talk about applying. Now we talk about getting reps. So firstly, the online application of your skills. This is good. This is great. This is an amazing way, especially if you don't have somebody that you can apply these skills with in person. But ultimately, I just feel that the online application of really anything is not utilizing that skill set to the highest leverage that you can. So now we have the in-person application of it on your own. So if you're trying to learn about money, trying to get a better understanding of finances, just doing it by yourself, right? Like investing into your Roth IRA, buying an index fund, understanding how to do that, great, amazing. It's solo though. the best thing that you can do is in-person application with others. So I'm not saying just go and buy a bunch of stuff in Roth IRAs sitting around in a circle at a table. What you need to do is do the in-person application, the solo application by yourself, right? And then go and talk to other people about what you're doing. By teaching them, by sharing ideas, by collaborating, by just getting into rooms with people who are doing similar things to you, you will learn a million times faster. Just the same way that doing a private jiu-jitsu lesson with a coach is really good, but then going and training with 50 other guys who are all really good at jiu-jitsu, that's going to be what makes me the best. That's going to be what gives me the skills that I am wanting. So ultimately, apply it as much as you can, but online's great. In person is even better. If you could do it in person with other people, now you're golden. So with that, that's the hierarchy of resources. Let's recap this really fast. Number one, whenever you're going to go and study, eliminate all your distractions prior to your study session, all of it. Get your food, get your drinks, go to the bathroom, clear your texts, set up the sticky notes so you can write down any ideas that come into your mind. Number two, spend intentional time over time getting reps with the material. You need to get reps every single day for, dare I say, an excruciatingly long period of time. But if you can do that, if you can keep that up, if you can keep the volume up for a long ass period of time, you will learn whatever it is that you're trying to learn. Your primary focus should be on old tests and homework problems, or in the case of somebody not in school, your primary focus should just be on applying as much as you can in as big of a room as possible. And then make sure you're using things like books, slides, YouTube videos, etc. to build out that base, give you a foundational awareness of all the material, but do not rely on that to be the number one method by which you're learning everything. So with that, that is the exact study routine, an exact studying mindset that I used throughout engineering school and I continue to use in my life. Like I said, I'm a dude who is trying to maximize his life as much as humanly possible as I go through my 20s and into the next stage of my life. If that's something that is interesting to you and you enjoyed this video, I would seriously love it if you would subscribe to this channel and also let me know in the comments what other types of videos you would like to see going into 2026. With that, thanks so much for watching this video. Catch you guys next time.